All right, everybody, so, sitting on the edge of your chair, sit up tall, interlock your fingers, and go all the way up, lengthen through the sides of the trunk. Have a heaviness through your legs, pressing firmly through the feet, settling the hips down, and being on the center of the belly bones, not pushing forward or back. And then extend the arms out to the sides, change the interlock, and then back up into Urdhva Padanguriyasana. Notice if there's a difference in the shoulders, but see that the hips stay settled, the legs even, and then extend out to the sides. Hold on to the chair behind you to roll the shoulders back, pull the shoulder blades down, lift the sternum up, and then come back up, twist to your right, hold on to your right outer knee, and lift up through the trunk, roll the right shoulder back, lift the sternum from bottom to top, draw the spine from back to front, lift the chin a little bit so that the cervical spine is also injecting from back to front. And then inhale, reach up, come back to center, exhale, twist to the other side, holding on to the back of the chair seat, and then holding on to your outer knee. Inhale, lift up, exhale, roll the left shoulder back. As you lift the trunk up, pull the spine from back to front, lift the chin slightly so that the neck vertebrae come forward. Lots of times when we're looking at a screen for a long time, then the spine tends to move from front to back, and so counteracting that. Release, come back to center, hold on to the top of the chair again, back of the chair, and lean forward. Get the chest open. Especially as the uterus gets heavier, the baby gets bigger, then it's easy for the sternum to kind of drop. So lift the uterus, lift the sternum, lift the top chest, and then have a feeling of coiling the armpits, moving the armpit from back to front and then upward. Back to front and then upward in order to spread the chest open more and more. And then release. Take Adho Mukha Svanasana with the hands in the chair. Elongating through the legs, through the arms, through the trunk. You can use support for your head with a bolster, anything that you want. And then bring your attention to your legs here and pin the outer thighs in by pulling from the outer hips down toward your heels and then the inner thighs back. And keep your feet apart, but have a feeling of the femur heads moving in toward each other, gripping the outer thighs in. And then step forward, concave Uttanasana. Lengthening through the spine. Make sure you're not compressing in the abdomen, but extending the trunk forward. Now from here, bring your right leg forward, your right foot under the chair, and your left foot back for Parsvottanasana. And draw the right outer thigh back and into the hip socket. Now, turn your left foot out, wiggle it back a little bit and come into Utthita Trikonasana. You can use a mat. If you feel like your floor is slippery, you can use a mat. Otherwise, you could just stay on whatever surface you're on. So, turning the pelvis around that femur head. So, and then inject that femur head by pulling the right outer thigh in toward the front groin. Grip the gluteal muscles, the right gluteal muscles to pull the right outer thigh in and extend through the trunk. Then come back into Parsvottanasana, facing the chair. So the leg stays in place but the pelvis is turning around the leg. The femur is turning around the leg. Then change legs. Left foot forward. I'll just turn so I can face you. You can stay how you are. So, Parsvottanasana. So that there's a tendency, especially in pregnancy, late pregnancy, for the femur, so the left femur head to kind of bulge out. So pull the left femur head toward your midline. Left femur head toward your midline. So gripping the left outer thigh in. And then with your right foot, lift your right heel, turn the foot out slightly, and then press down through the right outer heel. Come into Utthita Trikonasana on the left side. And bring your attention to the left outer thigh and grip the left outer thigh into the hip socket. The left gluteal muscles need to be really engaged. The right side also, but that happens kind of naturally. That left side, we might need to be very conscious about gripping and turning the thigh out more and more and more. So the standing poses, and then come back to Parsvottanasana, are very much about how we relate to the earth, how we relate to the ground beneath us, and how we get grounded, how we get centered, how we get stabilized. Do one more time. So the right foot forward, left foot back, Parsvottanasana on the right side. And so here, in terms of getting grounded and stabilized, so pulling up through the legs and then conveying that firmness from the legs into the pelvis. Bring the pelvis into a healthy relationship with the legs. So pull the femurs back into the hip sockets, pull your right outer thigh into the midline. Then turn your left foot out slightly and then come into Utthita Trikonasana. So the pelvis is turning over the femur, and then a different set of actions is required here. That outer thigh needs to pull in. The right outer thigh needs to pull into the midline. The right buttock needs to grip to keep that thigh bone in place. And then elongate through the crown of the head. You can reach your arm up into classic Trikonasana. Yeah, and spread across the top chest. Come back into Parsvottanasana. And then change legs. Left foot under the chair, right foot back, Parsvottanasana on the left side. Pulling both femur heads toward the midline. Pressing firmly into both feet. Then from here, turn the right leg out. Come into Utthita Trikonasana. So the legs stay in place, but now the pelvis and the trunk rotate over the leg. Gripping the buttock under. Extend through the crown of the head. Roll the shoulders back. Reach up through the top arm. Keep that firmness. Stabilize the leg, the left leg, by gripping the left gluteal muscles and pressing them forward, and then broadening across the left front groin, and then spread across the top chest. And then come on back. Come to the right side. We're going to do Parsvottanasana now. So the right side. Now bend the right leg. Bring the knee to touch the chair. And keep that knee touching the chair. Pull your right outer thigh into the midline. Grip it there. Then turning your left foot out slightly, come into Parsvottanasana. Yeah. So then, and then activate the right outer thigh, the right gluteal muscles, and press forward so that the right groin broadens and opens up. Whenever, however, in yoga, whenever we're opening something, we're also stabilizing and strengthening. So it's opening the front groin, but it's gripping the outer thigh, so that there's stability in that joint. It's never openness for the sake of openness. It's always balanced with strength. Reach up through this top arm and extend over the ear, classic Parshva Konasana. And then come back to face the chair. You can lift the back heel to face the chair. And now straighten the right leg and change legs. Left foot forward, right foot back. And then bend the left leg, come into a square. You can let the back heel lift up a little bit as you come into a square here with the hands on the chair. And here, pull your left outer thigh in so that the left hip is in line with the left knee and not bulging to the side. Then, with your back leg, turn the leg out and then turn to face forward to Parshva Konasana. You can put your elbow on your knee. Yes, and the palm on the chair. Keep that chair nice and close in. And then, so now in this position of the pelvis, that outer thigh needs to grip in. Left outer thigh gripping in. And then pressing through the right outer heel. Lengthen through the left inner thigh, feel the left front groin opening and widening. But then the outer thigh also very much gripping and stabilizing. Then reach the right arm out like Trikonasana, and then extend it over your ear, classic Parshva Konasana. Lengthen through that top arm, and then come back to face the chair. Lift the back heel, face the chair. Turn back, and then straighten the leg. And then take Adho Mukha Svanasana here for a few breaths. Downward dog. And in downward dog, study the relationship of your femurs with the hip socket. Kind of picture them as if you had X-ray vision. Kind of picture your femurs in the hip sockets and pull them back. And then come forward into Uttanasana. Now, get your second chair. Let's see, what would be a good way to do this? Maybe to put a sticky mat on the top of your second chair, like this. All right? So I've got two chairs. The second chair is optional, but definitely during pregnancy, it's very nice. Okay, so then from here, this time have your right foot maybe 12 inches away from the chair. All right, so not too close this time. All right, and so now facing the chair. And then come forward, take the other leg up. You might have to play with the distance into Virabhadrasana 3. Now, if it's too high, you put your feet on the side of the chair. Okay, so either here or here in Virabhadrasana 3. Yeah, I think it's too high. So put your foot on the seat of the chair, Lindsay, Because if it's too high, then it makes your back sway. It makes your low back sway. So better to have the toes on the seat of the chair. That's better. That's better. And then extend the trunk forward. Trunk forward. Good. Okay, so now this is where it gets interesting. So now you'll keep your right foot where it is. Place your your right hand on the chair, and then start to pivot around. Now I can use the top of the chair for Ardha Chandrasana. Now, if you want to use a wall, if you have a wall nearby and you want to have your back to a wall, that's also perfectly fine. Okay, so now turning the pelvis from Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So it's the legs, the standing leg stays in place and the pelvis turns around it. And then spread the chest open. Reach up through the top arm. And then to come back into Virabhadrasana 3, bring your left hand down, turn your left foot in, come to the toes. Good. And then you'll switch. So now, left foot forward toward the chair. And then the right foot will come up into Virabhadrasana 3. Standing firm on that standing leg. And then rotate. Rotate. Take the leg a little higher. Turn. You can hold on with your right hand. You can hold on to the top of the chair. Yes. Find the bar of the chair and you can hold on to that. Come down to your elbow. See if you can come down to your elbow, Lindsay. Yeah, that looks fine. So, and then turn the chest open. Grip the left outer thigh in more and more and more. Extend through the crown of the head, extend through the lifted leg, and grip the left outer thigh, left buttock to stabilize the standing leg. Okay? Come back into Warrior 3. And then let's do that one more time. Okay, change. So the right foot, partway toward you could use the wall. That's a good way to do it. I'm gonna go near the wall also. So the right foot toward the chair. And then the left foot comes up into Warrior 3. So we really up the ante when we're standing on one leg, right? So that right outer thigh needs to grip in very strongly. Then from here, rotating the pelvis, and then take the leg a little higher, come to your elbow, and you can use the wall for balance. Grip the right outer thigh, right buttock. Spread the chest open, reach through the lifted leg, extend through the heel. So we're studying the relationship of the pelvis to the femur and all the different ways that the pelvis and femur can relate to each other. And now turn back into Virabhadrasana 3. And then step down, change legs. Left foot toward the chair. Right foot up on the chair for Virabhadrasana 3. It's really solid on the standing leg. This is all about the standing leg. Get really solid on the standing leg. And then from here, rotate, and come into, externally rotate the standing leg, and then to come into Ardha Chandrasana. So reaching through the the right heel. Now grip the right outer thigh, the right buttock to broaden across the right front groin and to stabilize in the, the left leg. The left front groin and to stabilize the left leg. Try reaching up. You can take your hand to the wall behind you for balance. And then come on down. Back into Virabhadrasana 3. Back into Warrior 3. And then all the way down. Okay? Take Adho Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Yeah, you can have your hands the back of the chair into a wall. And then you stay there, but now step the legs wide into Prasarita Padottanasana. You can bring your forehead onto your forearms, folded on the chair, for Prasarita Padottanasana. Legs wide. Maintain that very clear relationship of the femurs into the hip sockets. So gripping the femurs into the hip sockets, pulling up to the inner thighs. You know, we're living through very uncertain, a lot of instability, political instability, like maybe our nation has never seen or not seen in a very long time. But it's just revealing issues that have always been there. And so we need to stay grounded. We as yoga practitioners, we need to stay grounded. We want to be clear in our minds, not be swept up by our passions, but to stay very stable, clear, grounded, and be a stabilizing presence in our communities. So this kind of work, standing poses, is really the best thing that we can do right now. And then come on up, and heel toe in, and hooray, hooray for the babies who are coming at this time, who are choosing to be part of the change that we're all needing to see and experience. So they're bringing their gifts with us. So with them. So now this is what I suggest is to have a couple of blankets like this. So I folded my sticky mat in 4s, and then but you know what? Have the chair against the wall. That's going to be better. Let me, I can go over here. Have the chair against the wall. And then lying down. So you can watch me for a second. So first we'll do this Chatushpadasana that we've done before. Then I'm pulling the chair in and getting my sort of tailbone on the chair and then stretching the legs straight. Okay? So it's like a Chatushpadasana, just Chatushpadasana, and then just like the tailbone on the chair. Now you can put a sticky mat on the chair if you want to. Okay? It's up to you. So lie down, shoulders on the blanket, head on the floor. So it's a different way of getting into a version of chair Sarvangasana. And then press your feet into the bars, side bars of the chair as you lift the buttocks up, Chatushpadasana. The baby loves this position because it gives them a lot of space. And it's also a relief for the pressure on the birth canal. You know, there's pressure on the bladder, pressure on the pelvic floor. So this alleviates that pressure, gives the baby a little more space. And then from here, pull the chair in a little bit more, and then catch the tailbone on the chair, and then raise your legs up. So it's more of like a straight line, more of a diagonal, less of a curve than when you have your whole sacrum on the chair. It's just a little, it's not quite as much support, but it gives you quite a bit of lift and helps you to really get the length of the front going. So we're doing this pose because all through class we've been doing a lot of flexion, external rotation. So now this is just straight up extension of the hips, extension of the front hips. And then also getting the benefit of the inversion here. Okay. Can stay one or two more minutes. Keep reaching the tailbone up, keep lengthening through the front of the thighs. And actually inversions late in pregnancy in the third trimester help the baby to get into a good birth position. You know, and by creating a little more space for them to sort of maneuver the area. All right. Now from here, bending your legs. You can lower the hips down, and you can rest your legs on the chair, your calves on the chair. And then you can either stay here for Shavasana, or you could lie on your side, whatever you prefer. And as you rest in Shavasana, have a feeling of the femurs settling into the hip sockets, the pelvis level, observing the rhythm of the breath. So the rhythm of the breath and the heartbeat are kind of like, you know, like the way we feel when we're listening to the waves at the ocean or at one of the Great Lakes. That sort of lapping, that rhythm is very soothing. So it's also sort of the soundtrack of field life. So now you could stay here as long as you wish, and I will officially end the class, but you can take your time. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, stay safe, and let's be present for each other in creating stable, safe, balanced, joyful community. Take care.